How's it going, everybody? Mike here, and in this video I want to talk about how Monster Hunter Wilds open beta has smashed records recently. Still has some caveats, some issues though it needs to be ironed out and polish fixed, but which I'll also talk about in this video. But yeah, like Monster Hunter Wilds open beta is one of the most played games on Steam, and it's not too surprising, honestly, because this game as a franchise has become way more mainstream, way more popular ever since Monster Hunter World. And while this game is still some months away, it's overall a resounding success. You know, the console beta was freaking great overall. It still could, use some improvements when it comes to the frame rates, especially performance mode on the base PS5, where that needs to be a locked 60 FPS. I know it's going to get PS5 Pro enhanced stuff, but I think the base PS5 should be able to handle it at 1080p 60 FPS, but we'll see what happens with that. I know the PC version definitely should run at least 1080p 60, running good. Only issue with that, at least with the beta, that I was noticing and reading about and hearing a lot about is unless you got a really good rig like a 40 series GPU and some other good stuff there, some good VRAM, it's not going to run well for you. But at the same time, I've had friends with a 40 series GPU still run into like the polygon issues and other issues and with the 40 series. So I don't know. It definitely needs some better optimization for PC overall. And hopefully they are working on that with the full launch version, full game. I know they said that the full game compared to the beta isn't a much improved state compared to the beta. So we'll see. Hopefully they keep working on it. But when it comes to the record-breaking numbers that it did on Steam while the beta was active, over 463,000 concurrent users, myself included, when I tried it out. And this comes from the Steam DB website, which, I use for a lot of these type of numbers to check stuff because it's basically the unofficial database of Valve's platform. And this was reached in less than 24 hours of the beta launched on Halloween night, guys. That is impressive. That is incredible. And this is just Steam alone. There's no telling how many people were playing on PlayStation and Xbox. And I imagine the numbers are a lot bigger on PlayStation. And if we want to compare, well, the Monster Hunter Wilds beta far exceeds previous titles in the series, such as Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter Rise reached a maximum peak of 231,360 concurrent users, while Monster Hunter World managed to reach 334,684 concurrent players. So take that for what you will. But I also got to credit Capcom for overall as a company doing better than they were before as a company overall by delivering great games. They've changed their strategy and how they do their games and launches and things like that. And they've been on it to update their games to give them, better quality life stuff and things like that. So not only did Monster Hunter World help with making this more mainstream as a franchise, but Capcom as a company is just doing so much better than they were back in like 2015, 2016, just to give you an example. And something to note here too is as for Capcom's franchise itself, like this particular one, this is the company's best-selling series in history, even surpassing Resident Evil, which is insane because you think Resident Evil is so freaking popular, right? It's my favorite horror franchise. But yeah, this somehow even exceeds that. And this game is coming out next year, February 28th, 2025, guys. So get ready. And if you haven't seen my recent Game News of the Week video, I talked about in there where they're also adding a arachnophobia type of feature option where you could essentially use that to replace the spiders with these bubble-like creatures for those that suffer from arachnophobia, so you don't have to deal with that fear. But there's also something else that's kind of a big concern in the community, is that some fans have complained that Wilds combat feels floaty or not as impactful as in other Monster Hunter games. I didn't initially feel this way, but then I go back and realize like, no, it probably did feel a bit floaty when I was playing the console beta when it comes to this combat. And according to one player who has analyzed frame data for Wilds and compared it to that of prior Monster Hunter games, he says it has to do with hit stop, or in this case, the lack of. So if you don't know what hit stop is, hit stop in action games pauses an attack animation on hit for dramatic effect, usually to emphasize the weight of an attack landing. Accompanied by various visual and sound effects, hit stop helps to give attacks a sense of power, as opposed to waving around a virtual weapon that feels like it fails to connect. Increasing the number of frames and thus time devoted to weapons, hit stop is traditionally used to increase the feeling of its power, as it leaves the player character in this pause state. Monster Hunter has used this to great effect over the years with many of its oversized weapons. And it's this comparison to Wilds that YouTuber Blue Sigma has made to suggest a significantly reduced hit stop in Wilds is making the combat feel different. So it looks like not only will Capcom have to address like, the weird polygon issues and performance issues on PC, but they're going to address the hit stop, bring it back, make it actually functional, in the way it's supposed to be for Monster Hunter Wild. So we'll have to wait and see on that, guys. But this is still shaping up to be arguably their biggest game possibly ever made from a commercial success, because this is, I feel like, it's going to be a big commercial success, and they deserve it. They worked hard at this, and they're gonna, make sure it's gonna be a great game. It's launching day one on PC and console. This is the first time ever a Monster Hunter game has done that, because Monster Hunter World and Rise, we had to wait for the PC version at a later date to arrive. And so I know those versions, I think, didn't launch in full good, technical prowess and performance. So they had to get updated and fixed over time. This, I imagine, is going to still have some bugs and issues even when it does launch on PC. Hopefully not as bad as the beta, though. Hopefully they will get that situated, sorted out, things like that. But yeah, I'm so excited for this. I still want to get this on PC myself and play it that way, and just have a blast with it, guys. So let me know your thoughts on this. What are your concerns? Have you felt like the combat or weapons feel floaty? Are you concerned about any other technical issues like the polygon stuff with monsters and things like that? Or are you still excited about this? I still think this is going to be one of the best-selling games of next year, possibly the top-selling game of next year. It could rival GTA 6 that's supposed to come out next year in terms of sales. It could. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But this is going to be my biggest game of next year over GTA 6. So that's just my hot take on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like. My name is Mike. Thanks for watching.